Imagine you're walking through the savannah 3 million years ago. You're surrounded by animals, massive herds of antelope, zebras, elephants. But you don't eat them. You can't. Your teeth are too small. Your claws don't exist. So you eat roots, berries, leaves, whatever you can find. And then, one day, something changes. A predator killed it, left it behind, and you're starving. So you try something no one has ever done before. You put the meat in your mouth. This is how it began, not with a plan, not with a recipe, just hunger, curiosity, and a dead animal. The earliest evidence of this discovery comes from a place called Dikika in Ethiopia, 3.4 million years ago. Archaeologists found animal bones with cut marks on them. Cut marks made by stone tools. Not by teeth, not by claws, by human ancestors. The bones belonged to Lucy's species, Australopithecus afarensis. She wasn't a hunter, she was a gatherer, but she ate meat. How? She scavenged, took what predators left behind. This was the first step, the first taste of a revolution. Fast forward 800,000 years. The first stone tools appear in the archaeological record. 2.6 million years ago, Gona, Ethiopia. These weren't just rocks, they were the first kitchen knives. The tools were used to butcher animals, hippos, bovines, large game. This is the world's oldest known kitchen. But here's the thing, they still weren't hunting. They were scavengers, opportunists, taking what they could. Meat was a treat, not a staple. But it was enough to change everything. Meat provided the calories needed for a bigger brain, and bigger brains meant smarter hunters. Enter Homo erectus, 1.8 million years ago. Our ancestors had changed, taller, stronger, smarter. They could run, they could plan, they could cooperate. And for the first time, they started hunting. Not scavenging, hunting. The evidence comes from a place called Schöningen in Germany. 400,000-year-old wooden spears, perfectly preserved. 8 spears, crafted with incredible skill. They were used to hunt horses. This wasn't luck, this was strategy. Homo erectus had become the first apex predator of the human lineage. But they still couldn't cook. Raw meat is hard to digest, it takes hours to chew. Cooking would change that, but cooking was still far away. For now, meat was eaten raw, fresh, bloody, and it was enough. Then came fire. The earliest evidence of controlled fire is around 800,000 years old. But fire wasn't discovered for cooking, not at first. Fire was for warmth, for light, for protection. But then someone dropped meat into the fire, and they smelled something different. When they pulled it out, the meat was softer, easier to chew. This was the first cooked meal. Cooking meat kills pathogens. It makes nutrients more available. It unlocks calories that raw meat can't provide. This is what allowed our brains to grow even bigger. Cooking made meat a superfood, and it made hunting even more valuable. Then came the Neanderthals, 400,000 to 40,000 years ago. They were the ultimate meat eaters. Their diet was heavily meat-oriented. They hunted massive animals, mammoths, bison, cave bears. They used wooden spears for hunting, and they worked together in coordinated hunts. They didn't just hunt, they butchered on sight. They brought back the best parts, meat, marrow, fur. They cracked bones open to eat the marrow inside. Nothing was wasted. They even ate the brains and tongues of their prey. This was a meat-centered existence. But even they had a secret. They also ate plants. Then came the Upper Paleolithic, 50,000 to 10,000 years ago. Humans became the ultimate hunters of the Ice Age. They hunted mammoths, the largest land animals of their time. Direct evidence of mammoth hunting comes from Siberia, hunting lesions and projectile points embedded in bones. They didn't hunt mammoths every day, only when they needed ivory. But when they did hunt, they were deadly. They butchered mammoths on sight. They used the bones for tools, the fur for clothing, the meat for food. The mammoth was their supermarket. They also hunted reindeer, horses, and bison. They even hunted Arctic foxes for their fur. This was the peak of ancient hunting. But meat didn't only come from land animals. Early humans also ate fish and shellfish. The earliest evidence of fishing dates back 140,000 years. Shellfish were eaten even earlier, in South African caves. By 42,000 years ago, humans were fishing in the deep sea. They caught tuna, sharks, deep water fish. They used fish hooks made from shell, and they caught fish with nets and traps. So, when did ancient humans discover that animals can be eaten? It wasn't one moment, it was a journey. 3.4 million years ago, Lucy's species took the first bite. 2.6 million years ago, we made the first tools. 400,000 years ago, we became the first human apex predators. 800,000 years ago, we learned to cook. And when we put it all together, we became human.